Hey everyone, we're Chris and Sandy with the Chris and Sandy Show, where we get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I said in every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We're excited to welcome back an amazing singer-songwriter with deep roots in music, the multi-talented Cristina Cash.
So welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Sandy, great to chat with you again. It's been like 5 years. So
yes.
A lot's happened.
A lot's happened. Yes, a lot's happened. I have a little son now, who's 3.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's turning 4 in July. His name is James Christopher Cash is my son. And my daughter, who was probably just maybe 2 years old when I spoke to you last, she's turning 8 in September, which is crazy. My daughter Grace. So
wow.
We listen to new music, just like in the last 3 years, and we'll dive into it. I've just done a lot of songwriting. This time, a lot of bilingual versions, a lot of the Spanish versions, country stuff. Kind of just throwing it back to like my early career when I sang a lot in Spanish, but now kind of like mixing the country with the Latin and kind of doing a fusion with that as well.
So how is that with when you mix the two? What's the most misconception that people have when you mix Latin with country?
The most common misconception, I think, is when you're doing translations, they cannot be literal translations. People think, you could just probably put that in Google Translate and it's going to work out. And it absolutely doesn't. It's actually, it's harder than writing a song from scratch because you have to, you sometimes can't even say the literal meaning because it won't fit within the meter or the rhyme scheme, or it will make no sense in the other language. So you almost have to poetically go around it and kind of say the same thing without saying it. So it is like playing Tetris. It's really hard. But that's the most common misconception. People think they could just put something on Google Translate and then the song will be done, and it's not. So
I always wondered that because I was always like, how do you hear the bilingual, even though I don't speak another language, but you can tell it rhymes still a little bit. And I'm always like, how do they get that? Because I'm sure words don't rhyme.
Yeah, it's just, and either it works or it doesn't. Like, for example, with Cheap Margaritas, the current single I have, we had to do a Spanglish version. And Erica Ender did the Spanglish version of that. She's a Spanish speaker, speaks Portuguese, English, Spanish, and everything. And when she was working the translation, much like I work on translation, she could not find the right word, the right phrase to replace the title itself, Cheap Margaritas, which in Spanish translates to Margaritas baratas. And you just can't put that. It just would not work for the song. Mm-hmm. So it's like Spanish, cheap margaritas, Spanish, cheap margaritas. So it's Spanglish, basically. Spanglish version. Whereas with my first single off of this EP, Last Call, we were able to do a full Spanish version. I was able to translate it with my friend Jody Marr. It's called My Llamada, and that one was just more a little bit easier to translate the entire thing. We didn't have to like skip certain words, but both versions are awesome. Both versions are great. It's just like you have to do a lot of work to make them make sense and also be palatable to the Spanish-speaking audience.
So tell us a little bit about your upcoming EP, The Sunshine State.
Yeah, so super excited about this. Again, a lot of these songs are part of a larger body of work that I've been writing with different people in the studio for 3 years. The Sunshine State EP Volume 1. So there's clearly going to be a Volume 2 eventually. It was co-produced between my husband, John Carter Cash, and Willie Breeding. Willie is really great with melodies and with beats specifically. I wanted more of a pop sound on the country record. So we have, instead of a more traditional country feel, we wanted like beats to it. So essentially, that was really cool to work with. It's something I hadn't worked with as much before. Most of my stuff has been mostly instrumental based, and we have live instruments still on absolutely everything. So it's just a combination. And sonically, it sounds incredibly cool. But we also did have 2 different producers from 2 different schools that had to come to an agreement and work together on these mixes. And it was getting a fine balance during the mix of the live instrumentation with these really strong beats as well, like these pop beats. So as far as things coming from studio and transferring to another studio, as far as the mixing, there was a lot involved. A lot of people worked really hard on this. Our engineer, Trey Call, recorded me on most of this. phenomenal musicians, some of Nashville's best. Just a lot of hardworking people involved, and I'm so proud of this. So proud of this.
So tell us a little bit about your last Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah. So that was just recent. That was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago. That was really cool. It was a tribute show to Johnny and June.
Yeah.
And Lainey Wilson performed. I love her, by the way. She's
she's awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah. She's incredibly sweet in person, and there's a reason why she is where she is. She comes off as extremely authentic and very cool. Larry Gatlin, Carlene Carter, my sister-in-law, the Warren Treaty, Charlie McCoy. I mean, my husband, John Carter Cash, like he and I sang Jackson together, and then I did Hurt solo.
Wow.
And we also did Ring of Fire. I sang harmonies on Ring of Fire, and he sang the verses. And we invited our friend Chris Perez to play guitar with us. And he was in the original Selena and Los Dinos. I'm sure you all are aware of Selena.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So Chris was her husband and played guitar in the.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Selena and Los Dinos, but has had, he has the Chris Perez band, has done so much work since then, and works with Louis the Singer. Actually, another Latin country artist, Louis the Singer. I don't know if you've heard of him as well. He's on Universal. So he's done a lot of work, so it was really cool to also get to invite him to play those songs with us on guitar. And the night came off incredibly well. We can't wait to see it on TV. I'm hoping it'll be aired in Circle Network, I believe it will be. And I just love the Opry. Any chance I get to go is awesome. Hoping to sing some of this original stuff over there as well. We were also there, John and I, for Valentine's Day. We were invited for the Valentine's Day special, and Miss Valentine's Day with their significant other. They fed us pasta on Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow.
Big buffet. They made it really special. They brought all the ladies roses. Tiramisu, like it was great. So like I love the Opry family over there. They're great people.
So how many times have you performed on the Opry?
Oh, I've lost count. It's not a huge amount. I'm sure I can count it like on all of these fingers. I don't think I've surpassed 10. I think maybe a little bit under that. Because the first time I went was actually when John McEwen, of the Dirty Dirt Band invited.
Oh yeah.
This was 2015 was the first time I performed, and I was just singing verses and harmonies and things like that. And then I think he invited us again another time, and then I made my Grand Ole Opry debut with my original material in 2019, pretty much before I met you all. And that was my kind of debut, like my official debut with these original songs. And then I got to come again on. Oh, this is wild. So Christmas 2020, remember there was a bomber in Nashville.
Oh, we remember that story.
Remember. So I performed that night. I had to sing Christmas songs, and it was a crazy story. It's just that we were so scared. I think he knocked out the AT&T tower. I think he was paranoid about 5G, but his intent wasn't to hurt. It wasn't to hurt people necessarily. He just wanted to knock out the 5G. So we couldn't reach the Opry. We were calling. We didn't know what was going on. We were a terrorist. So like John was like so nervous. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "I can't let them down." Every artist is there. I'm not going to be like the one that doesn't show up. I'm sorry. Like bomber or no bomber, I have to go. So that was Christmas 2020. And then there was another John and June tribute show that we did 2 years ago. So it's like, it's like a number of times really. So I look forward to going back. Definitely.
Being that you're in the Cash family, what is it like when there's tributes to Johnny and June?
Well, it's always an honor. Someone in my position, like being a performer, you don't want to mess up. Do a good job, but that I feel like I treat that pretty much the same as I would treat any other job. I take them just as seriously, whether it's a tribute show to, like we did one for John Prine. John Prine. I took that just as seriously as I took this. We've done stuff for Loretta in the past. We did a short the door in LA while Loretta was alive. We also were invited to her birthday show at the Bridgestone Arena in 2019. So we've done tributes for various artists and things like that. And you take them all seriously, because I know the stories and the personal relationships, definitely with my husband's parents. It's very special because he humanizes them for me. So it's not just like visualizing them as artists. They're a little bit more, it's like dad, it's mom. And I hear a lot of the very human stories of just the people.
Wow.
So I think that's kind of that. And it was that way also with Loretta, because I got the chance to work with Loretta in the studio with John. So there's a human face on that for me, that there was a personal relationship.
Oh,
because humanizing people really does matter. It definitely makes a difference.
It does. And if I didn't have the chance to ever meet them and they'd passed or whatever it is, I'm singing somebody else's song, I really try to honor everybody's work as best as I can anyway, really. But it's just cool to have, to kind of know the person behind, the artistry, whether it's through stories because they'd passed on, or if you worked with them in person, it's just you kind of understand the person and why they became the creators they are.
Love that. So let's go back a little bit. What was there a aha moment where you thought, wow, this could be a career for me? When was that moment?
Yes. So I was 6 years old. I had already performed at the Miami-Dade County Youth Fair in Miami. Of course, I was born and raised in Miami. But Hurricane Andrew happened. It was a Category 5 hurricane. It was 1992. I was about maybe 6 or 7 years old. And they did a benefit concert at the Miami Arena, and Gloria Estefan was the headliner. She did a benefit show. And I just remember being in an arena for the first time. It was my first arena experience. And I thought this tiny woman, this lovely woman with this voice and this huge band, like she's commanding all of these people. And I saw all these people like singing to the music and the energy that was there. And I was like, wow, like this, I want to be able to do something like that. I want to be able to spread this kind of joy. I want to kind of harness this kind of energy. So that's when it kind of like clicked to me that it could be a career, that I could be out there on a stage if I worked hard, So I think it was that show specifically, that Hurricane Andrew benefit that Gloria Estefan did.
Oh, wow. Now, speaking of working hard, as you know, a lot of people, they see the glory in what you do, but they don't see that grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to make it to any level within entertainment. So a lot of people kind of skip this side of it. We don't. I think it's the most important side because people don't get to see that. So tell us a little bit about that side of it.
Wow. It is hard because there are a lot of opinions, of course, about what you're going to do. Whenever you put your heart on your sleeve, especially being vulnerable as a songwriter, as an artist, making artistic choices, even with the album art, with the wardrobe, people are always going to have an opinion. And that's sort of what you have to know coming into it. And there's a fine line between taking constructive criticism, because I think that's important too. And it's important to hear people out and listen. But also, like, when people start to get very negative and are like, oh, I don't see you as, this artist or as a star, or your music sucks, and they're just mean and they're hiding behind a keyboard and saying all these things, it's you kind of have to look past that, remember why you do what you do, and keep moving. Because if you have a vision and you have this desire in your heart to put art into the world, I think that's really important, as well as the grind. I mean, it is coming up with the money to pay the musicians. It is, dealing with people with personalities, not only in a studio, but with booking agents, with managers, with people with clashing ideas. It's being a leader of a team, really, because each artist is like their own individual business. You're having to promote your work and yourself. And it's really just being a people person and getting along with everybody and trying to let your vision come across. So there's so much involved. There are many hours clearly in the songwriting process. Also, whether you're writing by yourself or writing with a team of other people, it's dealing with cancellations, with timing, other people's schedules. Like, for example, a lot of, not necessarily a delay, but sometimes because we have a fully operative studio where a lot of other clients come in, I would have to delay certain songs from being recorded because I had to wait for the client to finish their term at the studio or their time there, so it's not like freely my studio all the time. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you have to sort of schedule and be extremely organized. So I'd say you just have to be organized, and you have to like practice the songs when you go out on stage, when you're promoting the stuff. You have to kind of help, you have a team, but you also have to manage the direction of the team, so there's so much work, really, so much work that people don't see. And they see us with the sparkly outfits, and they see us on,
Yeah.
and it's tiring. And I'm a parent. I have 2 kids, so it's
even tougher.
It does.
Oh yeah, like right now, John is fishing right now, so like he's freaking. It's like, okay, I have to do this interview, but our air broke, so like the air person comes, and I have to kind of like be the artist, and you guys have my full attention, but I have to like make sure that we don't like get overheated at night. You know what I mean? So it's so it's kind of managing schedules as far as making sure that children are also happy and healthy, that they're receiving enough attention and not ignoring their needs, but also fulfilling one's purpose in life as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I always felt that music was my purpose, and I think it's a great example to teach them to that my life did not end with being a parent. Like
right, exactly.
other stuff going on. I have dreams.
Just a new dimension.
It's a new dimension. It's like a parent can have dreams and move forward and continue with their creative work. And I think that's the example I want to give. Exactly, that you can do all these things. It's organized. But yes, I think part of my struggle, like on the daily, is that coordination, I think.
Yes,
you hit a while ago about people saying, well, you're not this and you're not that. I'm guessing, being who John Carter Cash is, that he gets that a lot because of his dad being Johnny Cash.
Well, like people say the dumbest things sometimes. They're like, well, you don't sound like your daddy. Well, he's like, yeah, like, no, duh, of course. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it used to matter to him more, and he would be totally open with like his 20s, maybe when he hadn't his identity wasn't solid back then, when he was kind of searching about like for his purpose in life, but now it's just, it coasts right by him. Like, he doesn't even pay attention at all. And he has a really strong sense of who he is now. And I think it's important to remember that every individual has something to offer.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And, no one is the same. None of us are the same.
All different.
Love that. Yeah. You're talking about balancing everything. Of course, it takes a team to do all this. And on our show, a lot of people see you, but they don't see that team. So in our opinion, teams never get any love. On our show, they get some love. So take a few moments and just tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Absolutely. So I'll start off with my husband, John Carter Cash, one of the producers, Willie Breeding, another one of the producers, the entire songwriting team from Erica Ender, Jess Kane, Willie Breeding, Jody Marr, Gabriela Scotto, Jada Dreyer, Rob Hatch, so many people. That's just on the writing side. The master, Alex McCullough, Paul Riddell, my mixer, manager, Fletcher Foster, Aristo PR, that's pretty much my team. At BMG, I just actually signed with BMG for an admin deal for my publishing. We haven't announced it yet, but I will be relatively soon, but so CSAC is my PRO, like all these people really. And just, it's amazing. It takes a machine, and you want to surround yourself with good people. And I think I have great people right now. And, I'm kind of really excited about what these songs have to say and putting myself out there again. And I was given kind of the luxury of time. I had no one kind of pressing me about like, you have to do this way, or this, that way, or you have to release this then. So I had no deadlines when I was writing the songs, which was really helpful to me, because nobody was there like beating me with a stick, telling me I need to finish. Now sort of everybody is, because now I have like a release schedule. So it's like, okay, we get this mix, and I have to, with the Spanish, it's an extra added layer of I'm doing the same work twice now. So not every single is going to have a Spanish version, because not all of them function that way.
How do you decide which one does?
Well, I take a good look, and I think of how many singles are we going to release per EP, maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. So, we'll identify what those singles are. We'll listen. If there's no way it can be translated, we just leave it alone. We just release it in English. If it can be translated to Spanish, then I have to work on the translation either myself or with someone else that can help me out with it, that kind of has an extra eye on it. And then I have to kind of look into what their schedule looks like, and then I have to do all the leads, comps that we tune, we do background vocals, we layer all the background vocals, then it goes to the mixer, then it goes to the master all over again, just like the first version.
All teams of people
all over again. So basically with the Spanish versions, I'm doing my same work twice.
Wow.
I'm doing my job. I'm doing
double the work.
Three artists' job twice. So because my Latino community, that's where I started my music career. Yeah. When I talked to you guys first about my first signing with the Latin division of Sony Music, it's because being fluent in Spanish and being bilingual, growing up in Miami, the Sony office was in Miami, and that's where I got my
Wow. Speaking of teams, we have a third co-host, our son.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to ask a couple questions.
Who is now 13 years old. He was
8 when he left.
Yeah.
So while Sandy goes and gets him, and we also got a 6-year-old little daughter.
Oh, okay. So that's very close to Grace. Grace is almost 8. So that's awesome.
And it's definitely been, what's funny with the parenting thing is, when he comes along, he was such an easygoing little boy. And I was like, oh, we got this parenting thing down.
No.
And then she comes along, and I'm like questioning, am I even a parent?
That's so funny. My cousin was not here long ago, I think maybe around the holidays, and they have little boy that they raised for a long time. It was kind of a big gap between the boy and the girl. The little girl comes along. The little boy was just like so easygoing. The little girl, like, she's very hyper, and I would say my kids are equally like on par with each other. Like if one is not if one is not messing with things terribly, the other one will. You know what I mean? So it's like they take turns being terrible sometimes, but they're not terrible. They're great kids. But you know what I mean? Just as far as like the hyperactivity and like all that.
I think the benefit we had is they're 7 years apart, so that helps.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Hey, Anna. So, what's your favorite food?
Pasta. Lots of carbs.
Oh,
because what's yours?
Pizza.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love pizza. I'm probably gonna order it tonight, honestly.
He done put it in your mind now.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So, what's one of the coolest experience you've had on your journey so far?
Well, I think getting to perform at the White House is one. Definitely, that's for the books. It was one of the best experiences of my life.
What was that like?
That was in 2006. I was invited by Emilio Estefan, who was coordinating the Latin talent for Hispanic Heritage Month at the White House in 2006. It was President Bush at the time. Mm-hmm. And they asked me to sing. I sang 2 boleros, 2 songs in Spanish and 1 song in English at a jig at last. I was accompanied by a guitarist, Marco Linares was his name. And I got to meet the president. We met him in the Blue Room, and we were in a line of dignitaries, and the guitarist and I were at the end. We were the musicians, all these important dignitaries, like from probably ranked from most important, then down to us, the lowly musicians, right? So I'll never forget what the president did. He looked at the line and went to us first, and he greeted us first.
That's a leader there that knows, let's go there first.
Yeah, let's go there first. And there are clearly far more higher ranking people like that, so I will never forget that. I thought that was extremely cool.
Awesome. Anything else?
That's it. All right. Hi. Oh yeah, it's nice talking to you too.
You too. Oh, he's lovely. He's awesome.
We try to keep everything family.
Yeah, you got to keep them working for sure. Yeah. I actually, funny enough that you say that with Grace and James, like I'm doing things independently. I do the missing piece I have is record label. So I have my own record label. But I basically told them I hired them as my A&R team. So they're my A&R team. So I have to credit them. And they're so brutally honest. I'll play one of these new songs in the car. They're like, it sucks. Or it's wonderful. It's great. Or they don't stop singing it. That's when I know I've got something good or not. So,
what's funny is that's like we have another brand called the Customized Ride, where we go to car shows and I film the car shows, the hot rods, the classics, the lowriders, all that. And so as I'm filming all that,
I'm listening but the time has come. We're
Yep.
the airport. Mind if I interrupt a second?
No, go ahead.
Sorry, so sorry. Hi, how are you? I'm gonna zoom. I'm gonna zoom. It's okay. Is everything okay? Still. Okay, yeah. Come on in.
Right.
Oh, yeah. We can just leave this open. No worries. So sorry. I'm almost done.
No.
Do your thing. So sorry.
Not a problem.
Yes.
When your AC's out, it's out, right?
When it's out, it's out. I had no choice. This is the window they gave me. And they're so gracious. They've come to help me before, and they're awesome. And actually, my dad has an air conditioning company, but we're in a commercial building in Florida right now. So it's like,
wow.
you know, my dad only does residential. So I grew up with air conditioning companies my whole life.
But but I launched another brand a couple years ago called the Customized Ride, and it exploded out the gate. And we go around and film car shows and all that. And he used to help me with it, but then he decided I want my own brand. So I came up with the brand called Hot Classic Rides for him. And so he runs that himself, and he's already up to 39,000 followers, I think it is. And you know, he's and all that, and he hopefully I told him he'll probably pass the Customized Ride because I'm at 490,000 followers and done 200 million plus video views. I'm like, with his brand, he'll probably pass that.
He probably will. He worked so hard on that.
That's incredible. Well, it's important to teach them young, you know, so it's a blessing for sure.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
So for me, you know, I'm still creating EP1, you know, we've got it mastered, we've got it mixed. So right now it's just kind of, we've decided on the next single. The next single is going to be released August 1st, and I can announce that already. That's Daybreak. And we've got a Spanish version for that. That's Break. So it's kind of creative around it. We've got like all the photos for the promo for it. Yeah. And just one more single, I think, before Christmas. And then I want to try to record a holiday song, an original. I have several like original holiday ideas in here, but I haven't gotten on the calendar to record them yet. I haven't even finished writing them, but I just want to I want to try, if I can, to get one brand new holiday single in. I have a full Christmas record already. It's called my Christmas collection. Then I released Mela Kaliki Maka. But I really am jonesing to kind of like have an original of mine, and I have so many. So eventually down the line, I want to do like an EP of all these original Christmas songs. But I know with the window from now to the holidays, like putting in distribution probably by November and all that, I only have time for one this year. So I'm going to get that going. And then I have to work on the Spanish translations for EP2. We have to identify singles for EP2. And then I hope to release a full record after that, kind of just like pick the, you know, what I like from EP1, EP2, add some new songs to it and create a record with vinyl. So,
awesome.
So who would be your ideal co-write?
Oh man. Co-write. As far as the country world, I really do love Lainey Wilson and Morgan Wallen.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. They have like really cool stuff, you know, and it's fresh. It feels good. Like, you know, I think they're great. A Jelly Roll is really great. I like a big fan of Jelly Roll. I love the War and Treaty are my friends. I love them very much. They're great. They make great music. There's so many people like on the Latin side. Like I love Carol G. Have you guys heard of Carol G?
Not sure.
I'm not sure.
She's really cool. She's from Colombia, and she has a record out right now. And I think she's really creative and cool. And she does more of like a pop reggaeton kind of tropical thing.
Yeah.
I always wonder what it'd be like to kind of fuse the stuff I'm doing with that kind of stuff, you know? So Carol's pretty cool. I like Carol.
Love that. So is there a song you've written that was just too emotional for you to really ever release?
Well, there's one. It's about my dad. It's going to be on EP1. I don't know.
You are releasing it.
We're releasing it. I don't know if it'll be released as a single. I'm not sure there's enough time before the holidays before that, because we have another one kind of in the queue. But it will definitely be on the record, and we're going to feature, and I'll promote it on my socials. And it's about when he had a stroke 2 years ago. So he's fine, other than he's in a wheelchair now, but he can get up with assistance and everything. But we thought we'd almost lost him. So it's a very emotional song about kind of a daughter and father going through the life cycle together, basically from the very beginning, having a father. And there's like a lot of allegory about wheels, about like a father driving you around and then teaching you how to bike, and then like then being wheelchair. It's the whole life cycle in a song.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. And that gets pretty emotional because it's, it's the passage of time in 4 minutes or so. And that can be very sad, but bittersweet, and also healing, though. I think people need to hear that sometimes.
Will you be able to perform it with it being so emotional?
It's funny you say that. I just performed it for the very first time at the Bluebird Cafe last week. I hosted a round at the Bluebird Cafe. I was tasked with that. So I invited my sister-in-law, Carlene Carter, Trevor Martin, very fantastic young like pop country performer from Kentucky, my friend Jody Marr, frequent collaborator. And we did like this little in the round, and we were facing each other. And, I tested it out, and I started kind of like tearing up, and my voice choked during that song. So it was pretty.
So where would you like to be in 5 years?
Well, sorry, one moment. So sorry. Hi. Here's my son. You can say hi really quick.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. We're almost done here. All right. Bye, Grace. Okay, love you, Grace.
Mama.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. We get it.
Yes. In 5 years from now, I definitely want to have a lot more work. I think now is the time to focus on my work. I'm very focused on my family as well. So I want to keep like building a garden, keep trying different recipes, cooking, very active with my kids, raising them correctly, making sure I make the right decisions with that. Like just continuing on making sure they have the right tutoring or classes, whatever I want to give them basically, and whatever I want to teach them. But I want to be settled pretty much. And I think I won't be so much in the baby stages now. I think they'll be a little bit more grown. So I hope to continue doing shows. I hope to continue more shows and being creative and putting out more work. And I would love to do a Spanish record, like a full Spanish record down the line.
So 2 more questions, and then we'll let you get to your kids and stuff.
Yes.
I have the air conditioning company. I have the kids.
Let's look, say 20 years down the road, and you're a success on a grand scale. Whatever that looks like for you, you feel like you have made it. What do you hope you never forget along that journey?
Well, I hope I never miss out on the little things. I hope I don't get too focused kind of on the work side of things, that I miss kind of like the enjoyable things about being with family. I think that's the balance that everybody tries to strike. So I really hope that I don't lose sight of that.
Love that. And we'll end like I always try to end. What advice would you give that person that wants to do what you do?
Well, I tell them to never give up, to practice a lot, to hone their craft, to not be afraid to try new things. I think fear stops a lot of people. I think fear kind of dictates your life, sometimes if you let it, and it's important not to. It's I told a few young songwriters at Belmont the other day, I went to go speak to them. There's this one girl that came up to me. She said she was afraid of like performing, and she had all these songs she was afraid of performing. And I said, well, try something that scares you every week. Now, that doesn't mean go jump out of a plane and you're daredevil. That means like, kind of build up to what you're trying to do by getting out of your comfort zone. So that's my advice.
Love that. Any final promotion words or anything?
Promotion words. So you can follow me on annachristinacash.com, my socials, Instagram, TikTok. My TikTok is Anna Cristina Cash Music. I'm more active on TikTok these days. Instagram, it's just Anna Cristina Cash, as well as all the things like the threads and X and all that stuff. And I've got my song Last Call and the Spanish version Tu Última Llamada out. Cheap Margaritas is out right now, and Cheap Margaritas Spanglish. And we've got Daybreak on the way in August.
Awesome.
Love that. Yeah, we really enjoyed having you on the show, and you're always welcome to come back.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
You have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.